the future isn't something that's 2 or even 3 years out. The future is happening right now. So, with no further ado, let's talk about how you can be future proofing your practice. So, I'd love to turn it to all of y'all and do some quick intros. Roman, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, so I'm Roman Villard, founder of a firm called Full Send based in Boulder, Colorado. We have 17 team members and we focus on accounting advisory and also data consulting as well. So a big focus there.
No.
Hi, I'm Nayo Carter-Gray, owner and founder of First Step Accounting, where we make accounting a little less taxing for small business owners all across the U.S. Yes, it's trademarked, don't use it. But my small team of 4 and I work with what we call hustlepreneurs. Baltimore, Maryland is where our home office is, but we have team members in Florida and in Texas.
Kenji.
Yes, I am Kenji Kuramoto, and I guess I'm the old guy here. So I represent, I guess, the full arc of the starting accounting firm to all the way to exiting. And so I was the founder of Acuity a little over 20 years ago. It got a lot bigger, a lot quicker, but it's been fun to kind of see all the changes in the profession, including right now, happen over that couple decades. So but yeah,
Great.
excited to be here.
I'm Liz Mason, CEO and founder of Hierarch Accounting. We do mostly advisory, controller, and CFO services. We also have a tax team. We do lots of consulting, not necessarily data consulting, but some fun AI consulting, as well as, helping businesses solve problems, lots of due diligence, mergers and acquisitions. We get our hands in a lot of very interesting businesses and try to help them do the best they can.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and we're remote. So I'm based in Phoenix, Arizona, but my team's all over the country. Yeah.
Perfect. So to start our time off, now that our audience gets to know you a little bit better, I really want us to focus the future proofing of our firms or practices with you all articulating what you think is not changing. Because I think when there's everything changing, sometimes it's just helpful to reground on, hey, what's going to be constant here?
I think a big element of that is get to know our clients better. How do we understand their goals? How do we create a better context library for our team to serve them really well? Like our focus on those things will not be changing no matter what direction technology goes and how we use it to enable both of those outcomes. That's kind of how we're thinking about it a little bit.
Yeah, when you say context library, what does that mean?
Yeah, the context library is how I think about it is really all of the information that's amassed around a client, whether it's their goals, their industry, the systems they use, how they talk about their team, like all of these data points that we can gather just to create context around how to serve them, how to use technology, how to use LLMs and AI to further our enhancement of like how we deliver our service to the client.
Garrison, I just love that you lean really heavily into the data, not just the numbered data, but the data around your clients and kind of understanding things about them. Because I find that does help drive conversations and make serving them a whole lot easier.
It does. And there's just so much data that can be captured around that entire client relationship. And so the more that you can put structure around, the better it'll enable you to serve your client really well.
Makes a ton of sense. Now, did you want to build on, what's not changing when you think about data and the compliance part of the equation?
I love compliance. I tell people all the time, this is how I grow my business. We do serve clients from that initial, I need my taxes done, all the way up to the point where they're like, I'm ready to quit my job and build out this business and hopefully retire one day. But the accounting equation isn't changing, right? Just understanding the fundamentals of accounting, that's not going away. What might change is how fast we can do it. So just understanding that the principles, the underlying principles, that's not going anywhere. And as long as you're rooted and grounded in understanding the basics, I think wherever this industry goes, you'll be okay.
I find it really interesting when you talk about that because between the two of you, why we're doing this is not changing. Why are we in professional services? Ultimately, we want to serve our clients well, right? We want to be able to make sure that they're in compliance with all of those fun, dusty rules. And we want to make sure that we're thinking about new ways to service them deeper and better and make sure that they have the results that they need to be successful. And I think that that core founding principle is so important.
That's a great segue. So we've talked about what's not changing and love hearing culture, right? So critical. having the excellent client service because of things like your client library, focus on compliance, focus on the mission, all durable constants. I'm just curious to hear, what are you most excited about in terms of how technology is going to enable you to be innovating?
From my perspective, in terms of client service, when we're thinking about the technology, I am most excited for the speed at which we can deliver valuable insights to our clients. I am excited for the efficiency gains that we're going to keep getting. I'm excited to see our profession kind of dig out from under this hole that we've dug ourselves into of constantly having more things to do and relieve ourselves into the point where we can actually sit and have meaningful conversations and have that information readily available and ask questions to our databases of all of this information and in real time be able to get these insights and help businesses grow faster and better and stronger. And I know that that's not a specific technology, but if you'd like, I can delineate all of the tech things that are changing and why I think that they're all fascinating.
Yeah. I can tell that you're fired up, just the speed at which you're like rolling through all of those changes and opportunities. It's awesome. When you think about something you said, though, we've done a lot of surveying of our customer base, and 73% of our small business owners tell us they wish their accountant were more proactive. I loved your focus on getting quicker to insights so that you can then spend that time.
Do you know how many emails accountants get on a regular basis? Communication is a problem. And there's so much communication and so much information that we're constantly consuming that it's draining. And it's very difficult to be responsive on a timely basis. And it takes a certain personality and a certain set of technology and potentially human assistance and to be able to respond timely and effectively. And if you have a burning question as a client and I respond tomorrow, that doesn't feel fast enough.
That's the opportunity.
We tell our clients we'll respond within 48 business hours. So I have a love-hate relationship with I need this information and I need it immediately when you probably had the thing a week ago and if you would have let us know a week ago, we could have got you information timely. I'm a woman of a certain age and trying to remember all the things in a conversation is very hard. So send it in an email because now I have something tangible. I can put it in your file. I can assign it or delegate it to somebody else. I can take action on it immediately if it's something that's quick, fast, and easy. I can build resources around it, right?
Going back to kind of thinking about how technology is providing more opportunities for change in delivering great client service, we started kind of with the idea of how to be more proactive, right? When you think about what I heard from you, that again is another trend that I see, which is so much of what slows y'all's practice down is the client's not getting back to you in the timely fashion. I know I've been that client every year for my accountant when we go to do taxes. One of the things we're really excited about is tools that we're building in the product experience that are making those outreaches through QuickBooks to accelerate that communication flow and have it all be inside our platform. It's all in one place. So I get that as an example of how we're trying to partner with you in delivering great client service. What else are you like seeing and what we've been talking about today that has you excited about how to keep progressing that forward?
Yeah, I liked what Liz said earlier about things that aren't changing, and it is that why. We want to serve. We want to serve clients well, and I think one thing that's changing that I like is the fact that I can remember so many situations where clients of ours were experiencing great success and they were growing and scaling, and it'd get to a point where they were kind of outrunning us. I mean, in terms of just transaction volume and scale and their needs from an accounting system and an ERP. And that was very frustrating because we had to, in all, this engagement's going well, the client's being successful, yet we didn't have the tool set or the capabilities to really go serve them. And so what I'm excited about is seeing now tool set actually extend further to where now mid-market clients are clients that smaller firms like us can all serve. Because when we made that leap to go and kind of figure out how to work on a larger mid-market ERP system, it was incredibly challenging. In fact, we failed in being able to do it. It was too different of a universe. So I'm excited about that capability because again, historically, we were very limited as firms because it was just too challenging to try to train our teams up on a entirely different product That's exciting to me when you can open up a larger addressable market of clients you can serve.
We spend so much time advising our clients on what tools to use and how to scale and how to grow. And to your point, what ends up happening is data gets stuck in different siloed systems that gets really hard to manage over time. So there's this natural point in time where clients are like, oh, I must graduate to this system or I must invest in this new tool. And so our ability to help our clients navigate those scalability friction points along the way is starting to become a little bit smoother with a lot of technology.
Like, could you talk about like what are you excited about for that kind of persona of what we've been talking about?
So, looking at all of the tools that are coming are going to help free our time so that we can continue to have these more meaningful conversations. I like having my Saturdays to not have to work. And I think with these new tools, it gives us the time back to be able to really do the work that we've been called to do, but also spend more time engaging with the customer and really helping them build and grow. Even with like Intuit Accountant Suite, being able to like pull data from that, not only on the accounting and bookkeeping side, but also on the tax side. It's like, oh, yes, you're making my life so much easier. I don't have to go to those different places to see what's going on with the client. And it makes your life so much easier, especially when you're a one-person shop and maybe you need to hire somebody. Now you have a better insight on what needs to happen and what somebody can come in and help you with. So it gives you better data
Well, yeah,
to run your firm.
and on that point, I think a lot of people start a practice or they start a solo endeavor, they get a few clients, they get a lot more, and then ends up not being the thing that they thought it would be. And they're trying to find ways to reclaim their time, reclaim their energy. And so to equip solos with tools to allow them to reclaim that time, get back to what the original intent was with starting in the first place, like that, to your point, is going to be a huge game changer for many, many firm owners.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the future. I want to bring us back down to the present day, thinking about all of the innovation you heard about today. Let's be specific. Let's think about what you heard and saw about what's happening in QBO and Accountant Suite. What are 2 to 3 go-dos that you're thinking about that would really resonate with our listeners today?
One of the things I think about when I'm thinking about new accounting suite, switching from QBOA, change is hard. Adopting a new workflow is hard. I want the team's workflow to be efficient and be smooth. And so for Accountant Suite, I think one of the go-dos is go start to look at the tutorials, go start to understand how you can embed this in your existing workflow, because we know that change is going to be hard. And so the earlier you can do that, the better. Super excited about that component about Accountant Suite.
So speaking of Accounting Suite, so looking forward to bringing tax data into
Yeah.
Accountant Suite, right? Because we do taxes in addition to the monthly bookkeeping. So I want to be able to manage all of that in one centralized location. Like I'm so looking forward to that. Can you tell? So excited. And then as we grow the capacity planning tools, I'm looking forward to being able to kind of test and play around with that. My team's pretty small at this point, but I don't want them maxed out. I want to be able to have some data behind, who can handle what new clients and if it's time to hire and all that kind of good stuff.
Love it.
Yeah.
What other practical go-dos, Liz?
But I can say, you know, if you are thinking about the future and you're scared for the future, the best way to get over that fear is to understand it. And so I would say think holistically about where you're going, what you want to do, how you want to accomplish that, and then research and understand how you can get there. And a big place to do that right now is with the new releases that are happening, right? And understanding what you already have in the tool sets that you're using and how you can expand your use cases for them to give us those tools to do things better, right? And then I would say learn how you learn and focus on, is it auditory? Do you have to read something to learn it? Do you have to play with it to learn it? And know that about yourself and find the communities and find the places where you can do that and where you can truly take the information that people are putting out there about the future, about what's happening at Intuit, about what's happening everywhere, and synthesize it into small, tangible chunks that you can then ingest daily and keep yourself up to date so that you're continuously learning as everything is continuously changing.
I'll say one thing too, is to where I love how ambitious everybody here was with 2 or 3 things you're going to do. I also tell that leaders and firms, it's okay to pick one thing. Pick one thing. Change. There's a lot of great changes coming through to it. We're happy that there's so many new things in the tools, but sometimes that change is very difficult. So pick books review, pick capacity planning, pick one thing that you think is going to make a difference in your firm. Go through the tutorials, do the training, and then make sure you're getting feedback with the team. So there's a lot of great things coming. Don't overwhelm yourself sometimes too. Pick one, maybe 2 things if you're feeling, like you guys. I'll get 2 or 3 things, but that's a great place to start.
Yeah, I love that. And I think just the theme, right, of change management, of bring your team along. And then I think for those of you that don't have a team, right, like it's find a buddy that you can be bringing one another along and holding each other accountable.
Yeah. That's how it started for me. Me and my biz BFFs, we kept each other accountable to, yeah, we knew our goals. We knew we wanted to do these things. And so we would check in with each other. Hey, how's that thing going? Oh, I did this. This is how it worked for me. So smaller firms are usually buried under work and they don't have or try to make time to learn about these new tools. So one of the go-dos I really encourage anybody to really do is take schedule some time to test things, whether that's you testing out a new LLM like a chat GPT and seeing how it works. Because unless you dedicate the time to do it, it'll never be a part of what you're trying to do and where you want to be in the next year. Whether it is, do I want to be the person who is leaning into this new technology and helping my clients and getting back to our core mission? Or do I want to be that accountant who is just, I'm happy just doing a tax return and sitting at the desk plugging away. And that's okay too. It's just having that foundation set and then setting a plan for it.
I couldn't agree with you more, Niall. We're going through a tremendous amount of change right now. But what I've always seen through these big change cycles it's been the firms who've been willing to experiment and try things and become adaptable. I mean, adaptability is really the only path forward when things are changing so much. It's the only way to continue and to grow. Whether it's now in the time of AI, and those who've done well have been the adaptable firms. And I think you first do have to start with being aware, trying to get your team interested, but ultimately you've got to start doing. You've got to take action. And I think we are in a little bit of a moment right now where everyone's very interested in AI. There's still a fairly large and sizable gap, I think, between interest and firms taking some real action. And that action doesn't have to be, we are a fully AI firm now. It can be exactly like you said, Niall, of we run experiments and try things out and get our team used to this change coming and get that posture ready for adaptability. That's what we're advising my firm, other firm owners out there, like that they need to be on that right now.
And you said something in the middle of that I think is really important. You bring your team alongside of you in that journey. This is impacting your team drastically. And so to the extent possible, try to bring them alongside of that decision-making process, the workflows that change, help foster conversation about that. And that's going to be a huge advantage to moving quickly in this type of market. In addition to that, getting involved in a digital community or going to a conference, something like that, I think is a really good step to take to start to learn more, to start to get more engaged. Like that's something that I'd be thinking a lot about.
Knowing where you're going is so important. I did that wrong so many times where I love to go out and find the new tool, the new thing to play with. And you might get the right tool, but if you don't explain to your team, your clients, what you're trying to do, it's going to be a miss, right? So aligning those 2 things up together, being willing to try new things out, but also talk about like, what is the intent of what we're doing as well too. That's will help you be so much more successful in these times of high change. Because again, I've gone the other route a few times and fell on our face.
It sounds easy to be like, this is my goal. It is not easy. This is a difficult exercise that will take many deep thought hours and, maybe more than one pen, but it is worth doing.
Well, amazing to have this conversation with all of y'all. Thanks for being here. So much fun. I wanted to keep going and going. But it's time to bring it to a close. So everybody listening, thank you so much for being with us in this conversation. taking notes. I think like what we talked about, how powerful it is to know what isn't changing, getting clear on your mission, and then using all of the technology as real opportunity for how you want to take your client relationships forward, how you want to build your team culture in more intentional ways. Think about driving all of the needs of compliance. What an amazing opportunity. This makes the concept of AI or artificial intelligence much more clear for you. I know I've gotten clearer myself during this time. And then as we think about how we elevate the craft of our respective practices using our human intelligence collectively, as you two hit on, the power of this community, I think, has been folks looking out for one another and being willing to reach out and help one another. So thank you all for joining us. It's been an awesome conversation, and we can't wait to hear and learn from you. If you want to give us feedback, we love feedback. Go ahead and look down at the bottom of this page. We've got a post-event survey for you to be filling out. And thank you for your time.